Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. A few days ago, I got the chance to speak with Daphne Maxwell Reid. Most of you know her as being the second Aunt Viv from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We cover a variety of topics in this 20 plus minute interview, including, of course, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the reboot, or as she says, the reimagining of Bel-Air, the new series that, of course, is taking a different approach from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, her cookbook, and a variety of other topics. And I really had a great time. And I told her before I actually started recording that I was nervous, and she said, "There's no reason to be nervous." And she was so great to talk to. Like, my nerves were put at ease because I was nervous, but I was really, really happy with how it turned out, and I was really, really happy to talk to her, and it was great, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So, enjoy my interview. Well, first of all, thank you so much for being here speaking with me today and doing my research, because I had to do a lot of research for this. I wanted to be prepared for
Good.
this. I found out you've done a cookbook, which is awesome. A number of years ago, you would ask me that question, be like, "What? I have a wife now, so I have now changed my mind on the importance of
Being
cookbooks."
said.
And yes, and I love the title of it. I had it pulled up here: Grace plus Soul and Mother Wit, a cookbook spiced with personal memories. What inspired you to do this? Because a lot of people have done cookbooks, but what inspired you specifically to do yours?
I've been collecting these recipes 40 years. People I've worked with, people in my family, people I run across, hotels where I've been. I'm going, oh, I got to have this recipe. um, and I've been collecting them and sharing them with my friends. And finally, my friends said to me, when are you going to get that cookbook off your computer?
Oh, okay.
I was kind of shamed into it.
Mm,
And I decided, okay, everybody writes a cookbook. What's my point of view? So I decided that I was going to do a mini memoir. And each recipe is going to have a story about where I got the recipe or what that person meant to me or what this meal, this dish means to me in the experiences that I've had. And kind of take people along the journey of my life through these recipes. And I decided to start in the beginning of the book with pictures of me growing up and my family and the people who meant something to me, and then how I got into the kitchen and what a good cook my mother was. And then I said, a lot of people aren't cooking, they're out eating in restaurants.
yeah.
There's a whole trend of people not cooking. And I wanted to get people back into the kitchen because it's a wonderful place to share love. I consider sitting down and feeding a family, sitting down around a table and feeding a family as communion.
Okay.
And it's a time for memory, and it's a time to create memory and create bonds and understand people over a meal. So that's what I was trying to get everybody to pay attention to. But I know so many people had never been in a kitchen. So I start out by telling you what you need to have in your kitchen to make anything, what you need to keep in the refrigerator, what you need to keep in your pantry, how to set a table, how to write a menu, um, different cooking terms that you can find in any cookbook, but it's all in one place here. What do you mean braise? What are you talking about? I give you what the braise is.
Mm,
So I started the book with memories and stories, and then give you hard facts of what you need. And this is how you can be successful at this, even if you're just starting. And then I take you on a journey with my recipes.
I like the fact that you made it more personal in a sense of there's a story with each recipe. And you said menu. My wife has had a menu on that refrigerator every week. This is what we're having on Monday, Tuesday. And and just like with you saving recipes, she has recipes that she saved from her grandmother, her great grandmother, that if she didn't save them, I don't know if they would be around. You
Correct.
know, that's really cool.
Collate them,
Hmm.
get them in some kind of form,
Yeah, it's just like a binder.
pass it on to
Yeah.
somebody else because they're going to. people need just some basics. And we get these people around the table, we might get a lot more done.
That makes sense because it's just so easy now just to go out. It's expensive, but people are just like, let's just go out. And that's what happened last night. Me and my wife had a situation. We had to go drive a bit, and we're like, I don't want to go home and cook. Let's just go out. And so, but we've definitely cooked a lot more at home. And
Yeah.
that's really cool that you did that. And the fact that it was a 40-year journey as I was looking into this, like 40 years, like that's a long time.
I'm
But
an old lady. I've had a lot of life.
it's great that you turned it into something more than what it
My
was.
pleasure.
And
Yeah.
in doing also my research, I found out that you created face masks during the shutdown, which my wife did the same thing. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. It's like this, all this stuff there. Like, what made you want to do that? Did you see other? Because a lot of people were doing it. Did you see other people doing? Like, I can do that too.
I'm a seamstress. I've been sewing since I was 9 years old.
Okay.
So I do fashion,
Mm-hmm.
and I had all this fabric in my house. I said, "Yeah, we're gonna do some masks here. These people are crazy."
Exactly. Because at a certain point, those ones that they just sell in mass bulk are like they get like scratchy, like they put like irritation on your face. I remember going to Joann's with my wife, and she's just like, "Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's cute." And then she come home and just sew away.
That's
Just my.
right. And I found a pattern where I could insert a filter, a HEPA filter,
Mm-hmm.
into each mask. So when I decided to make them, I wanted to make good masks, not just facial coverings. I wanted to make a mask
Yes. Like, and they actually
with a
feel
purpose.
they feel comfortable on your face.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. So
yeah.
my choice of fabrics, and after a while, I had the lining on the inside used to be white. I don't make them white anymore because people wear makeup
Mhm.
and they get too messed up. So I do a black lining in them, and it's still a pocket for a HEPA filter. I teach you how to remove the filter and put it back in after you wash your mask. It was something to do during the sit down time of the of you're not going anywhere.
It felt like forever ago, but it literally was only a few years ago, and it's we're still kind of in it still.
Yes, I
Like.
still wear a mask. I still make
Mhm,
them. I go nowhere without a mask. I don't care what the mandates are. I don't know what those folks have done,
mhm.
what they're carrying. So I'll just protect me.
And that's the best way to approach it. Me and my wife, we did our best. She works as an MA, so we were expecting it, and we got hit with it, unfortunately, back in January, but we got through it. But it was kind of crazy, the world we're kind of living in now with all of this and the variants. It's like, I want to
Yeah.
go back to some normalcy, please.
Um, there's no going back. There'll be a
Yeah.
new normalcy.
Hmm. It'll be
And
the new norm. Yeah.
yeah, it'll probably have something to do like the flu, where you have to get
Hmm.
a shot every year for the new strain that's coming out.
Yeah.
But
That's my wife thinks too. She's like,
yeah,
it's gonna be like the flu.
if they stop making it political and just make it health, we'd get a lot further.
I agree because they're using it as like their agenda when it's not about right or left. It's about us as a people. Like we're dealing with this all at the same time. It doesn't matter what you believe in.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't care that you believe that. This is a necessity.
Hmm.
Let's all jump in on this necessity and help out the entire community.
I agree. I agree. In speaking of your career, because you've done so much stuff over the years, I was curious about this because I think it's something that I don't think people are asked a lot about in terms of being an actor in the industry. When you're looking for a role to take on, whether it's TV or film, because you've done a variety of both, is it like what draws you into a particular project? Is it like something in the script, or is it like a tone thing, or the subject matter, or is it the genre? What draws you in more to doing a project?
You're going to laugh.
Okay. Okay.
I don't get that opportunity. I'm not that
Oh,
big a star. They call me and say, "Would you like to do this job?"
okay.
And I say, "Okay, thank you." I'm not that big a star that
Okay.
I get to choose a project to do.
Well, I mean, is there like when you go out for something, or if you're called to ask it for something, you just like, okay, I'll take it, or is it like, oh, that sounds interesting, I'm more
I
interested
get
in that?
I get auditions for
Hmm.
some things. I've turned some things down, some auditions down. I said, "This, I couldn't wear this character. Uh,
Okay.
I know my limits." And they're looking for something very specific, and I know I can't bring that to them, so why waste their time with this audition? So, and I remember when they asked me to go audition for the Fresh Prince the first time. And I said, "A rapper doing a sitcom? I think not. No. Have a good life." I didn't go to the audition.
Okay.
So 3 years later, when they called me and I had seen the show, I said, "Oh yeah, I'll be there." But I
Was
had
it
to audition against 200 other people. I mean, it was not. It wasn't. "Oh, Daphne, we've been looking for you." No.
was it because of the fact that it was Will and that was kind of the focus, or was it just like I'm looking for other stuff, or maybe or because
It was
we
an opportunity to go to work, honey.
oh, okay.
It's real basic. I'm not
Okay.
the star that gets to choose.
Okay. Well,
I can
I
say
know this.
no, but I
Mhm.
can't say I'm looking for something. Who cares?
Okay. Well, that's a way to approach it because I've asked other people and I've heard other people talk about how they try to find stuff that maybe they haven't done before, like in terms of a subject or
What
a.
a luxury.
Well, I mean, if your approach is, hey, it's a job, I'll do it, and as long as you have fun with it, that's what matters. You know,
As long as it doesn't impede my integrity, I'm fine.
That's a way to approach it. Um, when you did your first episode, they made a point to address that Aunt Viv looks different. And then Will just looks at the camera the way he does. And I rewatched that part and he's just like, and he looks back. Did you
It's called
like,
breaking the fourth wall.
yeah, it was so good.
It was classy. I thought it was wonderful.
Did you like how they approached like
Yeah,
addressing it, or were you fine with
yes.
either direction of not approaching it?
I thought it was a very smooth and
Hmm.
catchy way to present that.
Because Will just looks at the camera and and the way he says, you look different, and you're just like, "Hmm," like, uh, nothing, and then
Really?
and then we move on.
Yes.
That was great.
Yeah, I thought so too.
The reunion was phenomenal. Like I remember watching it, just all this nostalgia coming back to me. Like I remember that. I remember that. Was it was it kind of insane to get everybody back together? Because you had mentioned before on previous interviews I was listening to that it was the first time you all were together in one place. So it must have been overwhelming. Like, wow, we're actually on the set of the house and now we're
Well, sort of.
well, yeah, kinda, yeah. They rebuilt it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little mini set of the house, but it was a joy to all be in the same place at the same time. We've had lots of occasions where three of us are together or four of us
Mhm,
are together, a lunch or a wedding or birth of a baby or sadly a funeral.
mm.
But to be all in the same place at the same time. And it was arranged so beautifully because we were all housed in different hotels.
Oh,
So we didn't reunionize before we got to set.
it was all planned out.
It was planned. And just to see everybody was such a joy. It was such a joy.
It it looked like it was fun, crazy, some emotional moments,
Very
but, I
emotional.
mean, the show has done so much, and it's one of the most iconic shows from the '90s, and to kind of see the reunion was there ever any talks of a reunion before it actually occurred? Or was it just like, you know, there's people we're all busy, maybe, maybe not?
Earlier in the year, we had had a Zoom call, and Will asked us if we'd be interested. And we said, yeah, it sounds like fun. Let's not do a rehash, of the show. What
Yeah.
do you have in mind? And he developed something that we all were really crazy about. So
I mean, that's really cool you guys did it because then of course Friends had their reunion and it feels like we're just doing all this and I know you've been asked all the time about the show ever coming back. And you said, no, lightning in the bottle, it's two.
That's it.
And I feel like that's the right approach,
Yeah.
because if you were to do it like, say, now, it wouldn't be the same.
The
It just
sensibilities of the culture are so different now. The
mhm,
times are different. It, the ease with which we lived back then is different.
yes, exactly. And that goes to the reboot, where it's a dramatic approach to the source material.
I
Ho
keep telling everybody it's not a reboot. It is
Oh,
a
okay.
reimagining.
That's a better word. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Will has been talking about it, and he was saying how, like, how do we go about telling a version of this story, or a similar, esque
It's a
of
fish out of water story, and
mhm,
that's a standard storyline.
mhm,
But we know the characters of this fish out of water.
mhm,
And this is rounding out those characters, giving it the whys and what happened and how did he get here and what were these people doing before Will got there? What were their lives like?
mhm.
How did the dynamic change when they all got together? It's a wonderful, remarkable way to look at it, and it's got modern sensibilities as it should,
Mhm.
and it's so well cast. It is just a beautiful show.
It's pretty crazy how you feel some similarities with it, like, okay, oh, there's that. But the fact is, it is a different approach tone-wise, because if you were to, say, remake the show in terms of just get a whole new cast, approach it the same way, it just wouldn't I don't think it would really hit the same.
I don't think it would be fair to history to do
Mhm,
that. That would be mocking the original show, and there's no point in doing that. Do the reimagining, go farther than we were able to go in a half hour, go
mhm.
deeper. Um, and it's shot very cinematically, so it's a beautiful, beautiful show. And I'm anxious to get back to episode 6 that loaded today. So
Yeah, I remember hearing about it and then seeing the trailer for it when it first dropped. I'm like, "This is very interesting," and I like the fact that it is different. It goes a different direction with it. Like you said, it's similar story-esque, Fish Out of Water, but it is a different approach, because, like you were saying, the times have changed. As I was rewatching some episodes, I'm like, "Wow, I was surprised they got away with that." But then again, things were different back then.
they are, yeah.
It's
Thank
just
goodness things are different.
I yeah, exactly. What are you doing anything particularly right now in terms of, work
Mm,
or
work, yeah,
mhm,
doing some independent movies and things like that, and also doing some things that fulfill me personally. I'm a seamstress and a designer and a photographer, so I can't go internationally for the past 2 years.
yeah.
So I had to decide what I was going to do with my photographs. So I designed a tote bag out of a
Okay.
fabric that I designed and had printed. And I'm so pleased with them. I can't wait to get them on the market.
Well, that's great, 'cause in a sense, like, luckily for me, for my job, when things shut down, I was able to work from home, but a lot of people didn't have the luxury, or they didn't know what to do with all this time. I mean, they were saying how statistically for, like, Netflix and all these streaming services, they just like, their numbers went giant because everyone's
Oh,
just at home like, "Well, we're bored, let's watch TV."
I was never bored.
There's always something to do.
And staying at home was quite what I did anyway. I
Mhm.
mean, I I do most of my photography and my books and prints and things on my computer, so I'm doing that wherever I am, but at home's fine. And I did a line of coats and things. There's one, let's see, right there.
Okay.
And I have a line of those that I do custom work. I don't need to be anywhere but home. So
Well, that
I've been, it has been no change for me as to being at home. Okay. I'm
that
still here and I'm working.
As long
Yeah.
as the work is done.
What else can I do while I'm sitting here?
Exactly. I mean, and that's where you did the face mask. Like, well, I can do this too.
Yep.
Like, it just makes sense that I can help people out
Yeah.
because
And I designed some face masks for two different entities. I did one for a board that I was on called Culture Works,
mhm,
and they subsidize and invest in artists all over the city of Richmond. And I designed a logo that had music and dance and reading and film, and designed the mask so that this was a feature of this mask, and donated them to Culture Works so that they could distribute to donors.
mhm.
And it raised a bit of money, which was good. So then just this past fall, I'm on the ballet board, the Virginia Ballet, and they were wondering, well, what can we do to thank the donors who stayed with us through all of this? I said, well, I can take your logo and make some masks. And they came out beautifully. So they're very happy with that.
Well, that's great. You found a way to give back, and that's you're able to take something you've been doing for so long and go,
Yeah.
I, I
And
can
share
I
it.
can help.
I,
Exactly.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's yeah. My wife's like, yeah, I had to do something because she's like, I'm going to work. It's chaos at work dealing with all these people because she tells me all the time, I get calls all the time from people like freaking out. Like, I got this symptom, this symptom. It's like, you got to go get tested. And so she came home. She's like, I have to do something. I'm like, okay. So she started going away, and um, it was really cool to see her like do something to kind of help people because, you know,
Yeah,
times are changing, you know?
they are. And if you spent the past 2 years giving of yourself, then you don't have the feeling that you missed anything.
That's true. And I mean, and you don't feel like you wasted time
Right.
because there's people that just sat around just because I think there's still people sitting around now not getting a job because in my area, there's all these places we're hiring. Well, where's all the people working?
Where
Like,
are they? And why aren't they working?
I was working today and I had a bunch of problems, but you know, it's the job. You know, you have to get it done. And then I'm like, well, I got to get off here. I got to jump on here. I got to do what I consider my, I guess, my second job,
Good.
my
Have
stuff.
more
But
than one. Always have more than one.
got to be productive because I could easily just stop.
It
Yeah.
it piques your interest too, and
Mhm.
learning is the way to enrich your journey.
I like that. Because I always got to try to find something to learn. I mean, and with all this too, I got my love back again for reading, like reading
Good.
books, something I haven't done in forever, but
Mhm.
it feels good to actually imagine the story in my head
Yes.
versus seeing it, which,
Yes.
yeah, that's great.
Excellent. Good.
That's what I'm saying. Good. I feel like feel like myself again in a
Yeah.
sense. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me. You've done a lot over these past number of years, creating the mask, and then you have the cookbook. You've done all this amazing work, and hopefully, we'll see more of you. There's
Oh, I
more to
hope
do.
so too. Yeah. Keep tuned. Stay
Yes.
tuned. Tell me before you leave what Chainsaw Reacts means.
Okay. So I love video games, and so I created a Xbox gamer tag, like my name. People know me. And so I created a YouTube channel with that, and I started making my own videos reviewing music. And so I was just going by Chainsaw. People would just call me, "Oh, you're just Chainsaw." Okay, cool. And then I decided I want to make a channel talking about trailers and movies and TV. And so I created a channel called Chainsaw Reacts. And it's
Oh.
been, people just call me Chainsaw for all these years. And it feels weird because, like, I feel like I hear that name more than my actual name.
So that's
People,
going to be your iconic that you live with.
yeah, it's kind of my thing. It's like, but it's me. Like it's me, But yeah, I could just be called Jordan. That's me. But people know me by the name Chainsaw Reacts. But
Well, it's been a
um,
pleasure reacting with you.
thank you.